Anyone who knows me knows that I love a good theme. The theme of 2026 is time to bloom, and the theme of this month is going to be March Madness because I love March Madness. I'm a huge college basketball fan. I went to Syracuse, which it's not necessarily the, place to brag about when it comes to March Madness. Still, whatever. I still love it. I love all the chaos and the energy around March Madness, just all the games, all the excitement around brackets. I have a bracket every single year. I do it with my friends, and then also just looking forward to all the different matchups because you never really know what you're gonna get, but there are so many amazing possibilities that come from March Madness, and honestly, it's just an exciting time to think abundantly, think what could happen. You know what I'm saying? I love to root for an underdog, so I figured why not do the same for my March. March is my second favorite month of the year. October is the first. I think that March is just really it's just such a good month because you have January, which you're coming off of the holidays, you're kind of getting your footing with the year. If you started, resetting or you started new goals this year, I found that I didn't really do as much reset, but more of a continuation. Still coming off the holidays, like I said, that can be a transitional period for a lot of people. You're going through the motion sometimes in January with getting some things right, but not necessarily getting it to being where you really want it to be. You're kind of just like getting your feel. And then February is such a short month. I think that you can show up in February and you're getting a better hang of it. You might have gotten into the swing of your new routine, or if you just came off the holidays, have more monthly goals, you might just, be getting into the swing of things. And then March comes around and it's like, all right, you're ready to go. Like you're locked in. That's how I've been feeling. Like I said, there's a lot of things that I've been locked in for since last year, but there are a lot of different changes that came with the new year, new goals, new things that I wanted to accomplish, as I'm sure a lot of us have. So March is just that core month for me to really show up and show out for myself. And I think theming it March Madness because, like I said, you never know what could happen. And I'm just excited about all the possibility of things that can happen for me in March. So I would definitely say take this energy that I'm giving. I'm sending you all this energy. Okay, I'm hoping that we all have amazing Marches. And I think that the fact that it's so close to summer, I'm not trying to, fast forward to the summer. I just truly believe that during this season when you don't have a lot going on, it's the perfect time to really set in and lock in those core routines that you want for yourself. Let's just be honest. When it gets warm outside and we have more things to do and we want to be outside, I don't know about y'all, but I like to be outside in the summer. I love to travel in the summer. I love to be with my friends in the summer. And I also love to be present for all those things, knowing that I'm already working on things that I said I was going to, and also cross off other things that I said I was going to, because how do I truly feel present in those moments when in the back of my head, I'm constantly thinking about all the things that I should have gotten done? So continue to be locked in, continue to reset, continue to find those ways which you can kind of make little tweaks and improve on. You're not just running around and having fun in the summer without setting yourself up for success. Or at least I hope that you are thinking about those different things. So welcome into March and welcome with this energy. I'm very, very excited. It's so hi. I do need to hop in the shower and start getting ready for dinner. So I'll go over some funsy thing. I finally finished my Harry Potter puzzle. I've been working on a 2,000 piece Harry Potter puzzle for a few months now. Also, I started reading this book. It's called No Ordinary Love from Maya Ariel. We have a Kennedy Ryan book dropping May. And it's the second book in her Harlem Renaissance series. My sister and I, we love Kennedy Ryan. And I'm sure if y'all saw the Rants vlog that y'all know that I love me some Kennedy Ryan. I bought two copies already because she had 2 special editions. So I'm really excited about that. And then I got my Architectural Digest in the mail. I love magazines. That's another fun fact about me. I love a good magazine. I'm just trying to get in my reading bag this year more than ever. I'm trying to be off that screen, okay? Last year, that screen time was insane, but I am excited to start this week with y'all. Let me know something that you're looking forward to in March, and I will see y'all this week. Let me pop my butt in the shower because I need it. I'll see y'all soon. I missed yet another yoga class, and I am so irritated at no one other than myself because this was preventable. Again, Mira, again. Last week, I was just like, okay, let me book my yoga classes. So then it got to Sunday and I was just sitting there. I was like, don't I have yoga class today? And I checked my schedule. I didn't see a yoga class. So I said, I'm pretty sure I booked 2 for last week. and I missed it on Thursday. No idea that I missed it, because I thought the entire time it was on Sunday. For some reason, this past Sunday, I thought it was on Sunday. It was on Thursday. And what's crazy is I was doing absolutely nothing on Thursday evening. The other couple of days, like after work, I had installs. But on Thursday, I was doing nothing. So I said, how did we miss that, Mira? From not checking my planner ahead of time and not even writing that one down. So then today, I said, we're going to put all of our appointments and everything in the calendar and add that as part of our daily routine so that we can actually set time to get to a place, because I never like to actually think about how much time it takes to get to a place, to park. It just, is not something that's on my mind. I'm like, oh, a class starts here. I'll leave whatever time and then just magically make it. I don't know what world I think that I live in. But anyways, today I said yoga class is at 7. We are going to leave the house at 6:30 because that gives me a little room, because yoga class is 20 minutes away. I said that gives you a buffer of 10 minutes. That's what I decided on this morning. Now, I got back from the office. I was a little sleepy. Mooney and I took a little bit of a nap. I got up from the nap, took him outside, came back in the house. I said, what is it that I want to do before I leave for yoga class? I was hungry. Also, I said, okay, when I get back from yoga class, I'm going to want to eat dinner, because I did plan on, after yoga, going to the grocery store. So I was like, let's stack those two habits. That makes sense. Get home, already have a couple of things prepared. All you'll have to do is make meat. So I was like, okay, let's make the broccolini now. And then I was so hungry, so as I was making the broccolini, I was also making the lentils. I'm like, okay, Mary, you still have room. 6:30. On my mind, I said 6:20, you need to be putting clothes on. I was on the phone with my friend. She had to get off the phone because she was like, Mira, I got to go finish my thing. I literally told her on the phone, we were having a conversation after I got off work about how this year I need to actually keep in mind how long it takes me to get to a place, and also how long it takes to park. Today, we're having this conversation today. So I'm making my lentils, I'm making my broccolini, and then I'm putting up the rice. I did change at 6:20. And then it's just like, Mira, first of all, I think that the logic and what I needed to do was change first, get all my yoga class stuff out first, pull out my yoga mat, pull out the bag, because that's what happened. I started moving around. I was like, you need socks. You need a jacket because you're going to the store after. You need to pull out your grocery store bags. And then it's just like, I'm running to the car. It's 6:37. I said, Mira, that's tight, but you can still make it. Like, I know I can still make it because I did that last week. I would be running, but I can still make it. I start the car, you know what I'm saying? I put on the directions just because I need to know, like, around what time. And there was a detour and all this other stuff because there was traffic and all these things that were happening, of course, because things happen. So then I looked at the time that it said I was going to get to yoga class, and it was way after. I called because I'm just like, okay, sometimes you know how they'll be like, oh, it'll take you 20 minutes, but maybe you'll make it through that traffic. So I said, there's still a possibility. I'm still thinking there's a possibility of me making this yoga class. And that possibility just, I get closer and closer. I said, Mira, you're not making the class. You're going to have to take another L. The issue is that that's more money that is being wasted. The one on Thursday, I give myself a little bit of grace. Little bit. Because I genuinely I really thought it was on Sunday. However, today, I knew that I needed to leave at 6:30. And now I'm in this parking lot. I literally brought the lentils, like a little bit of the lentils in the car because I was hungry. I planned on eating it while I was driving, which also, that thought process, girl, you thought you was going to eat? And everybody's like, it's rush hour girl, I don't know. I was trying to, do the multitasking thing. Be like, okay, cool. When I get back from yoga in the grocery store, at least some of the food will be made. I'll just have to do meat. Like, that made sense to me. However, it needed to be, hey, Mira, let's make sure we're prepared for this class that you actually have reserved. And then after that, if you still have time, you can do everything else. That's how I'm trying to work on flipping my brain to do the thing first that I know I need to do because it's for something else that I actually need to go to. And then if I still have extra time, like that's what the brain needs to start getting. I'm actually really, really sad because I've been consistently showing up to yoga, and also I've been doing better in general when it comes to making my time or making it on time for appointments, which is something that I struggle with a lot. I tend to be a late person and just be like, it's fine. I don't want to continue to do that. I want to be a person who shows up early, because also I tend to be anxious when I'm driving and I'm in a rush. I'm already anxious because of my accident from a few years ago, or it's been more than a few years, but still, I'm a little anxious when it comes to driving. So it's just like, for that reason, Mira, let's give ourselves some time. However, it's out of my control now. I missed the class. It is what it is. I still need to go to the grocery store, and also it's a lesson learned, and I'm tired of learning this lesson. I honestly am. And I think I'll be really tired when I stop having to learn it, because I'll give myself the time that I need to get to a place and not have to rush. So I'm about to map myself to this Trader Joe's, go there, go home, do a little woosah, a big woosah, and get done with a few other things that I need to do. I am so happy that I mapped out kind of the things that I needed to get done. One of them being actually mark my calendar with the appointments. That's the biggest thing, because obviously I need to really start doing that and being more aware of what appointments I have. So yeah, that's Monday for you. You know what I'm saying? It happens, and it is Wednesday, which means we are halfway through the week. Welcome to my do-over day. That's why I decided to call Wednesday, because a do-over was needed. I said, I'm not going to bring whatever energy was happening Monday, Tuesday into the rest of my week. So let's catch up real quick, because I already missed my Monday class for yoga. So then Tuesday, I'm waking up. I'm so sleepy. I'm tired. I said, where's the fight in me? You know, sometimes you got to get that fighter in you that says, we can do it. You got this. You're strong. Get up. It wasn't there. She wasn't present. You know what I'm saying? She wasn't there. I said, we're going back to sleep. I did wake up only because I've been on a morning routine for the gym for the past 2 years. So my body does know to wake up. I was just tired. So I went back to sleep. And then you know what happens when you go back to sleep even though you're supposed to be up. And so then sometimes you just wake up way past the time that you were supposed to be up. That's what happened. So I said, okay, not a lot of time to go on a little quick walk. Took the dog out to the park, and I said, we need to hop onto meetings. You better stuff these sardines in your mouth, stuff some eggs in your mouth and get to it. And there were so many meetings. Tuesday was one of them days. It was one of them days. And so I had therapy same day, which I think if I didn't have therapy, the day could have gone worse. So I'm happy that I had therapy that day, because it took everything in me to make it through Tuesday. You know, when things just keep happening and they're just beyond your control, but you kind of gotta keep going and rolling with the punches. I was just like, I feel like I'm getting punched. Like, I feel like I can't keep rolling with it because I feel like I'm getting beat up. So that's what Tuesday felt like for me. And then by the end of the day, I was just sitting there crying, being like, how did all this happen? And then going through that spiral, and I said, no, we're not gonna, it's still Tuesday. We can try to find something, to turn this week around, because it's Tuesday. I can't take this rest of this energy, or I can't take the rest of this energy into the rest of the week, or whatever. Yeah. So when I didn't go to the gym that morning, I still planned on going on a run in the evening. However, due to all the issues that were going on during the day, I wasn't even able to go on the run later. And I think that's when it really settled in that I didn't have really a lot of me time. So then Wednesday came along, and today I was able to make it to the gym this morning, which felt amazing. My body has felt very sluggish. Honestly, I do realize I'm on my cycle, and so I do need to calm it down a little bit. But the other thing that I did notice this morning was my butt was hurting a lot. I do have plantar fasciitis on my left foot. A lot of runners kind of get it or tend to get it sometimes, and I was one of those runners who did get it. I've been going to physical therapy for it, icing it, but not really resting it, I would say. Haven't really been resting it. And I realized this morning that, yes, I did pull back my runs to 3 times a week, but I said, you might just need to pull them back for at least a good month and a half, 2 months. It made me feel at first like, oh my gosh, I'm resetting myself again. I keep doing this. I'm not being consistent. And I'm just like, girl, What do you think you're gonna do if you can't even walk on your foot properly? So there was that, had that discussion with myself, agreed upon that, said, okay, let's go to work, let's get to it. I went to my doctor's appointment, and then I looked at so many other appointments I had during this week, and I said, let's take a beat, let's sit down, grab some coffee, and write a brain dump. I love to write a brain dump, especially when I've had a, chaotic kind of week already. I like to get everything that's up here on paper. What is that? When I say write everything down, I mean dump it. Car registration, gyno appointments, dentist appointments, vet appointments for my dog, PT appointments. And then it's just like, I need to get all these art prints hung up, which I tried to do myself. It didn't really work. But anyway, sitting down and kind of going through all of those things, I like to just dump it. Didn't even prioritize it, just simply dump it. Came home, took my dog out. That's why I have on my weighted vest, which I love. I decided because I'm not going on my runs, I'm at least going to continue to go on my walks. And I love to wear a weighted vest. And because it's Wednesday and it's my redo day, I do have yoga class at 7 o'clock. It is currently 6:06. I already have my dinner. Yeah. And I'm going to sit, eat that, and be out the house 6:30. And I'm already dressed for yoga. Same thing I wore on Monday, yeah, same thing, because I said I didn't make it to yoga, so might as well wear it again. So yeah, I am doing the day over. I'm gonna sit, eat, and go to yoga class, and then when yoga is done, I'm gonna get my acai bowl. Then that's gonna be my treat for myself. So yeah. So I just wrapped my yoga class. I actually made it. I was still running in. However, I made it. I'm a very sweaty girl. That class was super hot today, and I placed my order for my acai bowl before I got in the class, but I was running in there. I got to the door. They already had the door open. They were like, slow down, you're here. And I said, barely. That's why I'm running, okay? I parked that car. I don't even know how my car looks right now. I just hope that nobody hit my car. I'm learning to film in public. No, but I'm hoping nobody hit my car, because I really, real quick, and then I got up and ran out the door. But there's like so many flights of stairs to get to yoga class, and I'm sitting over there, I'm like, Mira, please don't hurt your knees. Like, we're already in physical therapy. We just want to make it to the class safely. And I made it. So at the beginning of the class, they're always like set an intention, and I'm like racking my brain. I just went on a run to try to get to class. I'm sitting over here like, intention. I don't have one. The intention was to get to class. So I'm here. And then she said, how about if you don't have an intention, just trust yourself? I said, oh, are you reading my mind? Because I most definitely didn't have an intention, but I said, that's a really good one, because it came up in yoga, or I'm sorry, it came up in therapy earlier. My therapist has been getting me to trust myself. Like, she's just like, Mira, trust yourself. There's a lot of changes that are coming in my life, which I'm excited about. A lot of decisions being made, and I'm kind of just like trying to lean into me, lean into what it is that I need in this season of my life, lean into what it is I want, and trying to go for things. Like I said, it's March Madness month. Mira versus her fears, and I feel as though that's just kind of been the theme of the month. So I was just like, you know what, we're gonna trust ourselves. It was more difficult of a flow. I feel like we were taking a lot of poses that were just balancing poses, and I struggle with my balance. It also got me excited because, like I said, I was a little bit sad deciding that I wasn't gonna run for about a month and a half. I said, what am I gonna do? And then I'm in yoga class, and I said, what if we just, continue to build our consistency and go to yoga a little bit more often? I would love to attend classes that are not just hot yoga classes, because I do want to learn more about different poses and whatnot. However, overall, it was a fun class. I made it Wednesday, and that's a wrap. This is my acai bowl. She has cacao in there, honey, coconut flakes, strawberries, blueberries, bananas, chia seeds, and then the base is, of course, acai. So I'm excited about it, and it's gonna be my treat for the night. I already ate dinner, so I really enjoyed that class because it slowed me down, which is something that I struggle with. I think all of us struggle with that, and I just needed to just be there and honestly just be still. Sometimes I really did just take a rest during the class, so I'm going to sit, chill, eat my bowl, and that's a wrap for the night. I am rushing quite a bit because I am running late to the office. It's just a later start to my morning. Happy Friday. I did go to the gym this morning. I trained legs, which was really, really good. And then I saw in an email that they had a theme for this Friday, which was wearing spring colors. So I put on one sweater vest, and I felt like it gave grandma. Because earlier this week, I was on FaceTime with my little sister, and she was like, Mira, sometimes, you be looking like a little grandma. And I was just like, That's crazy, but also she's not too far off, you know? Given my closet right now, she's not too far off. It is what it is. I honestly felt like a grandma in the sweater thing that I had on, which at the time was really, really cute. But again, I used to just wear big things, kind of more grandma-ish things. I think it was kind of just like to hide my weight. But I decided to change and get on this, or put on this new shirt that I got from Express the other day. And then I have on this satin skirt. It's black, and I have on these black flats, which I shouldn't really be wearing flats. However, that's another problem for another day. I'm just gonna balance it out later and make sure I ice my foot because I have plantar fasciitis on my left side. So right now I need to finish changing out these purses because I swap purses so freaking often, it's not even funny. However, I love a good purse, and I think that different purses are for different things. So because I have on this outfit, I'm like, let me wear this girl to the office. This is she's one of my favorite girls, is Pauline. I got my first one a few years ago as a gift for my birthday, and I have loved the brand ever since. Well, I loved it before that, so that's why I got it, but anyways, I think it's a really good brand. I really only have this style though, I'm not gonna lie. And then this is my Bagoo purse. I think this is just like the big one that I throw everything into, especially when I'm running fast or moving fast, which was kind of like my week. But now I'm like, girl, you need to change all this stuff out because you're not wearing. I would wear this to the office, okay? I would wear this to the office. I'm just not gonna wear this to the office when I have on such a cute outfit. So we're not gonna do that. But hi, Moon. And then Moon loves to stare at me because he's like, girl, where are you going? He is more comfortable with me going to the office now though. I remember when I first started going to the office and I came home, and my roommate at the time, he was just like, Mira, I've never seen him pee on the wall. So I'm not saying he peed on the wall. However, there's pee on the wall. And I was just like, yeah, Moon peed on the wall because he was irritated that I had to start going into the office. I'm just like, you peeing on my walls? That's real crazy. But he's way more comfortable now. He definitely has to work on, or we had to work on his anxiety, and also just making sure some of that energy got out before. So after I went to the gym, I did take him a little bit on a short walk, but that was really good. I haven't been able to run, of course, so I'm just like, let's get out the house. Let's go on a long walk. I went on a long walk last night, which was really, really fun. We went for about 3 miles, I want to say. So he's staring at me right now because these are for Moon. I started giving him more of these like dried fish as treats before I leave for the office, just because one, it's really good for omega-3s for dogs and their coats. I have a doodle, so he loves it a lot. And then also it gives him something to kind of like chew on while I'm at the office. So that's gonna be a sweet treat. They smell though, they smell so bad. Mooney, can you go to your bed? Can you go to your bed? Thank you. All right, all of this is changed out. I need to hurry up because I'm meeting someone, and then we're going on a team lunch, and that's gonna be my Friday. I have a few more things to get done after work. I don't know if anyone else has like after work rituals, especially after a long week. I'm trying to find some because as I go into the summer, I really wanna find ways to just relax after work. And if you're like, girl, I don't have no ritual, it's me and that couch. That's very valid. I made it to my favorite cafe and I ordered coffee. This is the juniper cardamom coffee, I'm pretty sure. I got it just with 2 shots of espresso because I already took my medicine for ADHD, so I don't really need too much. I'm running late on my schedule. I want to be here for about an hour and a half just to study. I think that with upskilling, you really have to do your due diligence to kind of like carve out time to do it. You don't absolutely have to upskill, it's by choice. I'm doing it by choice. Right now I've been in my role, a technical role, for about 5 years. I do work in tech. I went to school for computer science, and then I've been a software engineer for about 5 years, and I got promoted a couple years ago. So right now I'm doing technical training just in another niche within what I'm already working on. Usually I like to use kind of like a lot of different tools and resources in my upskilling. So Udemy is a really good one, Pluralsight, AcloudGuru, just different sites that have resources for technical training, and I think that it's pretty useful. A lot of people have, brought up going back to get my master's and this and that, but I haven't really spent time thinking about a master's. I just right now am working on my own projects and just upskilling with the tools, like I said, Udemy and Pluralsight, what I have to use. Those are tools or sites that you have to pay for. They have different subscriptions and whatnot, but I think that they're pretty useful, so definitely check them out if you're in in a technical role. Also, even if you're not in a technical role, let's say finance or other industries, I'm sure there are other resources out there. Like I said, it's by choice. I'm waiting on my food though because I'm so hungry. I did get a little treat for myself because I've been doing so good. Isn't it so cute? It's like an ube financier or something like that. It's a dessert. It's really, really good. And then I have my water because I plan on being here for a minute. I've been loving these headphones. I usually use my Beats Pro, but I've been using like a lot of my headphones whenever I'm studying for a long time, just because I feel like it sits on my ears and they're much more comfortable. And then of course I have my notebook with me. I love to have different tabs just to remember where I started, like a new concept. That's kind of how I like to do it. But yeah, we're upskilling, we're growing in our career, and then I have my salmon focaccia sandwich that I'm waiting to come out. But oh, it's right here. Thank you. The cafe is really, really cute. I come here so often. I'm gonna show you guys in a minute. I wanna open up this sandwich because I'm hungry. I'm wearing my new Betty Boot tee from Stript, which is one of my favorite brands right now. It's super, super cute. Hold on, look at it. With the cherries, I think that's so cute. This sandwich is gonna be everything. Here we go. I need that. I gotta get the juices flowing. Alright, put my phone on Do Not Disturb. It's about 2:15. I need to get Mooney at 4 o'clock, so I'm gonna stay here an hour and a half. I need to probably eat for about 10 minutes and then go an hour and a half. So let me show y'all the sandwich. It's so good. Like, this is one of my favorite sandwiches. I'm trying to get myself to order things differently whenever I go somewhere, but I usually stick to what I know. So I'm gonna get to studying. Also, I love to study in that cafe because I need to get outside of the environment that I'm always in. I'm always in my apartment. I work from home sometimes in my apartment. My dog be there. It's just not always a great environment for me to be like, let's study. I do study there during the week because I can't come to a cafe at like 10 o'clock at night when sometimes I do choose to study. So if you are finding that you're trying to get things done in your apartment or in your house and it's not working, choose to switch up that area. You know, go to a new location sometimes, because you might find that it works a lot better for you. I'm also still getting used to filming in public. So that's my spill about going to cafes. I'm trying to come to a cafe at least like twice on the weekend, so I'm going to try again tomorrow to go to another cafe and study there for a good 2-3 hours. That's how much I want to give myself like on the weekend. But yeah, upskilling can be fun when you make it fun. I think looking forward to the future, looking forward to what's next in my career, and understanding that this is going to pay off for me in the long run is always worth it. It's so nice outside, and yes, I'd rather be outside enjoying myself. However, there will be enjoyment later. Oh, before I start studying, this is a cafe. It's super, super cute. Oop, we're turning the camera. So there's like bathrooms back there. That's like the main area, and then there's like the clocks up there, and there's more seating on that side. But it's pretty big, lots of space. I like to kind of like be in my corner with my plant. But yeah, the headphones are on and we're gonna get to it. I'll see y'all in a bit. I finally made it to Costco, and that has been the best thing about this weekend. I have been telling myself for the longest to make it back to Costco because honestly, it's really not that far. It's about 20 minutes from me. It's not about how far it is. It's about making time to make a trip to Costco. It's not like Trader Joe's, you know what I'm saying? You gotta make a trip to Costco. It ends up being a trip, and I haven't had time for that. So I said this weekend, we're gonna make some time for Costco. I have been struggling and also slipping on the eating out ordeal. I decided earlier this year that I gave myself, I think it was like 10 times to eat out in total for the entire month. So that includes drive-throughs, takeaways. I just said takeaways like I'm in Europe. It includes like going out for lunches, dinners, whatever, all of that, 10. And then I think for coffee, I gave myself 8. And so far, I have not messed up, okay? The one rule was if I did go over in meals, I would have to deduct 2 the next month. And then for coffee, I think I just had to deduct 1 just because I need the meals to be felt a little bit more. I've been struggling though because work was picking up. My schedule was all over the place. Appointments were all over the place. I said, girl, we've been eating out a little bit too much because the progress in the gym, a lot of it depends on that nutrition. I am very consistent with showing up for the gym. However, that nutrition sometimes she be You know what I'm saying? I can get her real good for a little bit and then she just slips, but that's okay because we bounce back. So I got a bunch of salmon. I also got lentils, sweet potatoes, which one thing about me, I love sweet potatoes. Okay, that's my favorite food next to lasagna, which I eat every single year on my birthday. Anyways, I did a whole restock and I'm feeling good about it. I really want to get my nutrition back in line this week. I feel like last week was just, it was a little bit of a chaotic week for me, and that's okay. I also managed to go on a 2.5-mile walk with Mooney today, which also made me really, really happy because I've been struggling with the fact that I have not been able to go on runs, which I know is a good thing because I honestly do need to rest my foot. I should have been resting my foot. However, we're here now. And I finally got an espresso machine. I have heard, mixed reviews about Nespresso. However, I really do need to start making my own lattes in the house. So I'm going to go ahead, set this up, get my salmon and start making that, as well as a couple of other things that I want to munch on throughout the week. I do have another week of appointments because I have my lasering appointment. I'm also getting my hair finally silk pressed because these ends need to get clipped. However, I'm not going to add any yoga to my schedule or do too much. I'm going to try to go to the gym 5 days. 5. Last week I did make it 5 days, which yay for me, and I'm gonna try to continue that throughout this week. I hope that you all enjoyed this vlog, and I will see you all so soon. Bye, Bookies.